I am so hungry, Gabriel said, as they waited at the train station. The plan had been to spend the night at a small hotel, but Pista had never been away from her mother this long, and she was beginning to become depressed. So Gabriel had offered to change the plans, and they had got the midnight train. If everything went to plan, they would be back in Reshu by dawn. Pista was very excited. She had never stayed up this late before. However, she struggled to use it, as the night air was chilly, and she was currently huddled up to Gabriel with a blanket around her. Also, her small girl metabolism was catching up to her, and Pista found herself quickly nodding off. "How much longer?" she asked, resting her head against Gabriel's arm. "Another 13 minutes, Gabriel replied, gently rubbing her arm. "Did you have fun?" he asked, as Pista's eyes began to droop. Pista hummed. Each second she found it harder and harder to stay awake. "When are you going to tell Mummy?" he asked. "That I went down the giant slide and rode the river," Pista said, but did not finish. Gabriel looked down, and she was out like a light. That's what it appeared like, at least. Paradise World had slept very lightly. He would need to be careful when the train finally arrived. At 10 minutes to midnight, the maglev gracefully slid into the station. The only sound that could be heard was the gentle hum of the generators and the two passengers on board departing. "Looks like we'll get an entire carriage to ourselves," Gabriel whispered, as Jenny scooped Pista into his arms. Gabriel felt he had done a pretty good job at this whole parenting lark. Sure, Pista was not his kid, but on the day out, she had basically filled that role. Gabriel laid the moth girl down on the seat, taking great care not to damage her wings. Now that he thought about it, they must make lying down to sleep incredibly difficult. Do Defender lie down to sleep? Or do they hang from walls or something? He'd never been inside Nish's apartment, so he had no idea what their bedroom looked like. He observed Pista, trying to be sure he had not made some catastrophic mistake. He had placed her on her stomach, her wings draped over her much like the blanket. The girl was fine, gently snoozing away, her body rising and falling with each breath. Then Pista started to twitch. It looked like a gentle seizure, an oxymoron if ever there was one, but then Gabriel recalled that Paradise Worlders had far more active sleep than ordinary people. Pista's face, specifically her antenna, was a picture of tranquility, and Gabriel assumed she was okay. Gabriel yawned and stretched. It was well past his bedtime too. One benefit of being so small by Sapien standards was that most benches doubled as king-size beds. Not the most comfortable beds, mind you, but beds nonetheless. Then again, maybe it was the suit. It was not designed to be slept in, and Gabriel could feel some of the rigid supports digging into his side. Gabriel always had a rough night in new places anyway. This would be a nightmare. Still, Gabriel kept his opinions to himself and grumbling to a minimum, all the while hoping that the gentle rocking of the carriage would carry him off to sleep. It felt good to do this again, thought Gabriel. The blare of an alarm forced Gabriel's eyes open. As his lids slid open, he wondered, had he slept at all? Or had he managed a few hours? Gabriel was uncertain. Gabriel silenced the noise, and to his surprise, Pista was still fast asleep. She was still twitching 6 hours later, and Gabriel would not be surprised if she had done it all night. It looked painful and exhausting. Once again, the worry from last night came back, only now he was far more confident in waking her up. If they remained on board for too long, the maglev would leave without them, and Gabriel would get a fine for fare dodging. Gabriel rocked her as gently as he could while calling her name. Pista continued to twitch. She was still dreaming. Gabriel then rocked her harder, banging the window, clapped at his hands, and even tried snapping his fingers in her ears. He tried, but the suit made it impossible. "Can you sleep through anything?" Gabriel asked as he stood up, wondering how Nish managed it. "Nish," Gabriel said. Grabbing his PDA, he called her. Tapping his feet against the floor, Gabriel waited patiently. Though knowing his luck, Pista would wake up the moment the call went through. "Hello, Gabriel. Is everything all right?" Nish asked. The speaker slightly distorted her voice, but Gabriel was glad to hear it. "Yeah, it's just we're at Reshu train station now, and I can't wake Pista up," Gabriel explained, passing about the cabin. "You're at the station already?" Nish stated, surprised. Gabriel noted that she did not sound tired, yet it was only 6 o'clock. Was Nish an early bird, or did the fatigue wash off Defender quickly? "Yes, Pista missed you a lot, so we got the midnight train and came back early," Gabriel explained. "Oh," Nish replied. Gabriel could have been mistaken, but he believed Nish was flattered by it. "I've tried making noise, but she just keeps snoring like a log," Gabriel explained, looking down at Pista. "No, noise won't work. You've got to stroke her antenna," Nish said. "You sure? They seem kind of creepy," Gabriel replied, looking at the long feathery appendages. "No, it's fine. It's like a handshake you humans do," Nish clarified. Shrugging his shoulders, Gabriel knelt beside Pista and carefully stroked the tips of her feelers. Immediately, Pista's eyes opened and she sat up. No grogginess, no stretching or yawning, as though she had been faking the entire time. "She's awake," Gabriel explained. "Good morning, sleepyhead," he told Pista, rubbing her cheek. Pearson looked at his PDA and asked, "Who are you talking to?" "Mummy," Gabriel replied, handing his PDA over to her. "Hi, Mummy," Pearson said, holding the phone with free hands. The intercom chimed and the last call to leave Rescue Station was given. Gabriel picked Pista up and carried her out, not wanting to spend another 2 hours on the maglev. Pista ignored him and started to tell her mother about what happened on the day out. "Save something for when you actually see her," Gabriel said, patting her back. "I can just tell her again," Pista explained, finding that an entirely reasonable thing to do. "No, you won't. We need to get breakfast for one. I can already hear your belly rumbling," Gabriel responded, taking the PDA off her, "not to mention my own. Haven't gone this long without solid food for years," he added. Speaking to Nish again, "I'll get us some breakfast and then I'll bring it to your apartment. Should be about 2 to 3 hours. Give you a little more alone time." "Mummy!" Pista shouted and leapt into her arms. While Pista began recounting their day, Gabriel examined the room. While some chairs were on the floor, a lot of the furniture was attached to the walls, taking full advantage of the Defunder's ability to fly. "How do you sleep?" Gabriel asked, though it was only after Nish inquired about what he had just said that Gabriel realized he had spoken out loud. Nish stared at him, her antenna raised slightly. "Just curious how you slept. Those wings would probably get in the way if you lay on your back," Gabriel explained. "Bedroom's through there," Nish replied, pointing to the west-facing wall. Nish's bedroom was much like Gabriel's, large, spacious, with a marvelous view of the city. Looking out the window, he could see his tower off in the distance. He knew it was the same because of the sizable artistic display found on the building's roof. "You can see my tower from here," Gabriel told Nish, raising his voice. "You can?" Nish asked in disbelief. She entered the bedroom and followed his line of sight. "Where?" she asked. "That one. There with the statue of a flying creature on the top," Gabriel explained, pointing at the skyscraper. Nish peered through the glass. All she could make out was a vague blur. "Your eyes are a lot better than mine," Nish said, looking back at Gabriel. "Why is there a giant taco in the building anyway?" she asked. "Apparently the architect who built it really liked taco. I mean, really liked taco," Gabriel explained. "I take it that's your bed," Gabriel added, pointing to a climbing lattice-like structure on the wall. "Yup," Nish replied. "I'll show you," Pista said, climbing the rungs. "You go halfway up, hug it tight, and then fall asleep," she added, before closing her eyes and pretending to snooze, making exaggerated snorting noises. "I didn't think Defender snored," Gabriel said. "We don't. Pista's been watching a lot of human children's shows lately," Nish explained. "Come up," Pista said, rocking back and forth. "Don't rock the bed," Nish ordered. "You'll rip it off the brackets." "I'd love to, but I'm starving, and I need a shower," Gabriel explained. "Besides, I'll probably damage it." "Give me a day to myself and we'll meet up tomorrow," Gabriel said as he left Nish's apartment. "Go easy on your mum. You can be quite the handful." "Hey!" Pista shouted as Gabriel closed the door.